It's been 12 years, and you're about to watch our 12th annual Holiday Bubble Show on Two Guys and a Lot of Wine. I'm Bobby P.
I'm Rocky Holland.
And we are joined by two very sexy ladies this evening. Miss Essie Labrot, our town clerk. Thank you, Essie, for joining us.
Nice to be here.
I'll let you introduce your own wife there.
And Mrs. Sandy Holland.
Hi.
Both regulars on our Bubble shows. I think Essie was on back in 2019 and a couple times before that. And of course, Sandy's a regular. And we are having some spectacular bubbles this evening, which I think is long overdue, Rocky.
I think so too, yeah.
And there'll be some
I'm
surprises.
very excited about this lineup.
I am very surprised. Not only am I excited, I think we have stuff on the table that none of us have tried before. At least I haven't tried anything that I'm seeing. Essie has a surprise in the room, so we don't know what that is yet. But we're going to start with my gooseneck Prosecco. I brought the smaller bottles, but they're usually available in the bigger bottles. I thought it'd be easier to move around the table. So as an Italian Prosecco, it's a brut. It's on the drier side, and it's very refreshing and certainly to go well with any festivities that should be going on through the holiday season. And I want to see what you think of the taste, because I get strawberries and lemon when I've had this.
Strawberries and lemon, huh?
I feel like the aroma smacks you with strawberries.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
It's tough to swirl in the champagne flute.
You're not supposed to swirl bubbles.
I don't see a lot of bubbles.
Well, we
tiny
did pour
bubbles.
this first one earlier before the show started. I didn't want people to see the bubbles, but the bubbles on this are a little on the finer side, and that should come through. I think you should get a little bit more
More
tingle, a
flavor.
little bit more flavor, in my opinion.
Yeah, supposedly with the Prosecco, the bubbles are tinier due to the different way that they make it as opposed to Cava and
Yes.
champagne, the Charlotte method. I don't know why the bubbles are smaller, and I don't even know if that's true, but that's what I've heard. Could be an old wives' tale for all I
Well,
know.
now when we've poured champagne in our numerous parties over the many, many years, I always look at the bubble content and see if it's fluffy. And Essie and I were just talking about before the show started, the finer the bubbles to me, the more effervescent the wine.
Yeah.
But so am I wrong? Do you get the strawberry lemon in this? That's very
Very
strawberry.
tart.
Yes.
Very lemony, very strawberry. I get a little bit of cherry, and I get a very tiny, tiny bit of like a raisin note to it as well.
That's what I too.
On the
That's very
finish.
interesting.
It doesn't hit you at first, but it just kind of comes through. Not in a bad way, but this is a very pleasant, easy drinking wine.
Very easy drinking. And like I said, Gooseneck, they've been around a while. They make quite a few different things, but their bubbles are pretty popular. You can get the regular size bottle. These are the miniatures, but a regular size bottle is between $14.99 and $16.99. Certainly a very fair, accessible price point for Prosecco. So
Do you know the price point on the smaller ones? Those are fun.
those are $3.99 each,
Okay.
generally.
Okay.
$3.99 to $4.29 around that price point.
Perfect for a little picnic or something.
Oh, like I
like
said,
this. Yeah.
Gift bag or something.
Yeah, right?
Either
Favor.
this would work in winter, this would work in summer, and
Yes.
this would work with a lot of foods.
and unless you're doing the Italian meal or the, depending on what your traditional Christmas meal or New Year's meal is, because I think the fish is a little, no, actually, this would go good with fish if you're doing the Italian fish
Yeah,
for the holiday.
absolutely.
As always, champagne goes with everything, or bubbles go with everything.
It does.
So,
Very
thumbs up.
versatile, and it's not like overpowering. A lot of the rosé champagnes can be overpowering with the strawberry and the cherry, but this is very subtle, and it works for me.
All right, so my thumbs up for me on this first one, even though I brought it.
Great.
Yeah, I'm going thumbs up too.
Thumbs up for me. I'm
All right, we're going to move right into the
Throwing it
next
down
one,
to
which
this.
is the Lido deck
Love this.
sparkling, another Italian Prosecco. This is relatively a new one for me. This just came out locally, and by locally, I found this
Do mine first.
in Simsbury. But you can't find this. Just look up Lido Prosecco Rosé, and you should be able to find it no problem.
So I think my favorite thing about this, you're sitting with a table full of seasoned cruisers.
I'm
And-
almost platinum.
The Lido deck is where we
Carnival.
like to spend most of our time.
That's
so.
right. For those of you that go on Carnival cruise ships, not exactly something that they
Oh,
have.
I see you got a better pour. Bobby, what is more on here?
Oh,
I
yes, sir.
sometimes get accused of being heavy on the pour
There, but,
by my lovely wife here.
okay.
So this
I can-
one's
this has got
more
Oh, this
bubbles.
is different, yeah.
More bubbles.
It's also not as red, so that's
Trying to
interesting
swirl
too.
it, yeah.
Right, right.
Don't swirl.
I swirl when I want to.
You're not
I'm
supposed
going
to
to swirl.
You're
You
not-
can't- you're not
you're
the
not
boss of me.
supposed to
Wait,
swirl
yes,
bubbles.
you are. You're my
1
wife.
million bubbles per glass.
You know
That's
what
a
this?
fun fact that you know.
Yes, it is.
Wait, is that something true?
It's absolutely true. We talked about it in 2019. 1 million.
That's a lot of freaking bubbles.
It is.
Who's counting that?
Yeah, who does count that?
It was a
Some algorithm?
That would be.
I did not make it
Yeah,
up,
that
I
would be
swear.
tough to count. I would have to start.
Well, here's something I'm going to say
now
about this one right away. This one is more mild, and the flavor drops off
way
much
more
quicker.
mild, yeah.
There's no lingering aftertaste like there was on the gooseneck.
It foams up a lot more too. Like if you notice as soon as it hits your tongue, it.
Do you like that?
You said
I
this
don't
is
know.
also Prosecco?
Yes, they're both
Okay.
Prosecco's, yeah.
I got a back taste that I did not care for.
On this one?
It's there's an
There's
aftertaste.
some kind of aftertaste that I didn't.
I'm gonna go with I love
Could
the
you
name.
describe the aftertaste? Because I'm not getting it.
Yeah, I'm not getting it either. Maybe it's a woman thing.
I sometimes get
maybe
a
it's-
weird
yeah.
aftertaste on rosés from Provence that nobody else gets. That's why it tastes like garbage to me. I have no idea where it comes from.
It definitely doesn't taste like garbage.
No idea
not bad.
how
It's
it
not bad.
happens.
No, it's just
But every now and
not
then,
for me.
yeah.
For it.
Rocky, can you remember the Union Kitchen show we did when we were in the Union Kitchen? Wasn't that a Prosecco? Was one of the blind tastings?
Plastic.
He had a Prosecco that tasted. It had like a brioche kind of bread note to it.
That fooled us, right? Was
I
that the
don't
one that
know
we
that it was
thought-
made in the normal Charlotte method that
Okay.
Prosecco is made. They did a very good job with that, and that is a horrible blind taste because you typically don't get those bread notes with Prosecco. It was a really good Prosecco.
It was
that they had
spectacular.
there.
It was
And by the way,
delicious.
that one's up to 844 views.
It is, that's true,
As
yes.
of today, I
Thanks,
saw
guys,
that.
yes.
Thanks to everybody that watched. So
Appreciate
we're trying
that.
to get to 1,000. We got to 1,000 for the first time ever, I believe, with the London Wines.
The London Wine Show, that's
so
right,
that was
yeah.
exciting.
So
So
we're-
thanks to everybody that's watching and tell all
Appreciate
your
it.
friends. So maybe we can get to 2,000
Yeah, that'd be nice.
or a million,
Yeah,
like
just-
the bubbles, like the bubbles in this.
Who knows
one.
who's watching without being tabulated, right, on the regular channel? All right, so my first two selections, I'm going to, now, I must confess, I've had the Lido before. I bought 6 or 7 of those about a month or so ago, and Karen and I have had a few of them. I like this, but I know what you're saying a little bit, Essie. The flavor is good right off the bat.
Right.
It drops off very quickly, and you notice a little aftertaste. I don't, but it's not as pronounced, better tasting, I should say, than the gooseneck. The gooseneck not only tastes good when you first taste it, it lingers a little bit and it still
Yeah.
has a good flavor.
Yeah, I almost feel like there's, it's going to sound weird, but a little bit of a plasticky aftertaste.
Ooh, plastic. I don't think we've ever had that one before.
Yeah. You know,
Seriously.
like
I
you
would-
blow up a beach ball or something like that,
All
kind
right.
of.
Well, like I said, both of these are relatively inexpensive for Prosecco rosés. The Lido, I think, is between $13.99 and $14.99. And still perfectly acceptable for any of the holiday festivities that you may or may not be having.
I like it.
So-
Or bring it on a cruise and drink it on the Lido deck.
Or bring it on the Lido.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to let you guys decide where you want to go next.
So I'm going to let you talk about this one because I don't even know what you purchased,
This
but I'll pour.
So this is a Cava, and it was one of the things that I liked about it is that most Cavas are made with Xarello and Macabeo. This has a grape called Padisada. It's not spelled anything like it's pronounced. I had to look it up on YouTube earlier to see how it's pronounced. And I don't think that I've ever had a Cava that's made with this grape, so I'm going to be very curious how it tastes. It's supposed to taste of lime juice. Is a lot of people lime juice and
Lime
apple
juice?
and toast.
Oh,
So,
lime juice, okay.
I looked up a few of the. I go on Vivino and I look up what a few people will say, and if a lot of people kind of agree on it, but there's supposed to be like a lemon lime thing along with some tropical fruits. So
You know, it's funny, we haven't been really talking too much about pairing for the holidays, depending on when you're going to see this show, maybe December or so forth. But I think whenever we've done a bubble show, in general, pretty much any of the bubbles that we sample here could be pretty much drank with any food that you're serving for the holidays, no matter what type of celebration you're having, even if it's just sitting and talking like we are right now.
Yeah.
So,
you like this?
It's very effervescent.
I'm not a fan of this at all.
Really?
I'm
All
not
right.
a fan.
like it.
You and
I'm
Bobby drink
not
the
a fan of this at
Lido.
all.
We got this one.
this is a brute.
This tastes like there's a little bit of a burnt matchstick aftertaste to this
Really?
that I'm getting. Yeah. I'm-
See, now I don't get an aftertaste on this. Do you get an aftertaste on this?
This
So
is a
maybe-
very earthy.
when you smell it, do
Sparkling.
you?
Maybe on the nose, now that you say that. On the nose, but I don't get that at all on the palate.
Did you say this was a brute, Rocky?
It is, yes.
It is a brute, yeah.
I mean, you can tell why there's not a
like
whole lot
that.
of sweetness to this. It's got some fruit to it, and the fruit that I get is pear, maybe.
Yeah,
I
I would say that.
definitely do not get lime juice out of this. I don't. That person must have been on crack. But, maybe some lemon. Yeah, quite a bit of
There's
lemon.
lemon.
All of your Cavas are going to have that lemon note. Usually have that
There's a
lemon note.
pucker aspect to this,
Yeah.
so you do get a little bit
I
of
don't know
tart.
anything about the dominant grape in this. I've never heard of, and so it's not my favorite Cava. I'm curious what scale of 1 to 100.
I like it a lot. I mean,
Okay.
and we drink a lot of Cava at
Yes,
home.
We were a house divided on the.
I gotta say, I like it.
It's light, and it could go with anything.
It has that earthy characteristic that I tend to like in my bubbles, even in the champagne, the real French bubbles. I like that earthiness. This is a very earthy Cava. So I definitely
So
like this.
This was aged on the leaves for 24 months, which means it's supposed to have a pretty heavy kind of brioche bready note. I don't really get
I
that.
don't
I
get
get
bread.
a tiny bit of it, but this is not at all what I thought it would taste like based on the description and some of the reviews, but I don't know.
That's what's fun about wine.
Yeah, everybody tastes wine differently, and if everybody tasted the same, there'd only be one kind of wine.
I will say one thing, I had to do it. I just tasted it with the age reserve cheddar. Goes delicious.
Is it?
Really?
Yeah, really good with that.
Do you want a piece of
We
cheese?
forget about trying salt and
I'm
Yeah.
gonna reach over
Yeah,
you.
you
like
gotta.
that.
And the whole aspect of saltiness with bubbles too. And we've never really actually done the popcorn. We always forget to bring the popcorn in. 'Cause
With
popcorn-
bubbles?
With bubbles.
I've never known that.
I know potato chips, but popcorn is supposed to be really good with bubbles.
I always think popcorn and Chardonnay.
But this particular cheese does go very good with this. This is very
Yeah, there's
French
gotta be-
reminiscent, reminding myself of French bubbles. So
Okay. And Cava wants to be champagne. They make it the same way. And a lot of them taste exactly like champagne. This one I don't think does. It's got a little bit, to me, it's got a little bit of a kind of a pear apple note to it. But this is from the Catalonia region of Spain, as most Cavas are. So that's about all I've got to say about it. No more to
Well,
it.
I give it a thumbs up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
thumbs
definitely
up
giving
on
it a
me.
thumbs up. Did we bring the best in
want-
glass?
We did.
okay, good.
Yeah,
All right.
we did.
So 12 years I've been doing this show for Bubbles. Like I said, this is our 12th time we filmed a Bubble show. And we're going to be finishing off on the end with something I don't think we've ever done on one of our Bubble shows. Essie has something wrapped in aluminum foil that she's been very sneaky and not telling us much about. And we have a blue one, which we've done somewhat similar to that, I think, a couple of years ago.
Yes.
But this is a completely different one.
This is a different one.
And with that, we'll be doing something that I don't think we did on air before, did we?
Oh, no.
A little bit of
So
fun.
I'm debating, Record, should we do the surprise or should we go to the blue? What do you think?
I'm torn on that too.
Let's put it up to a vote.
Because we have a glass we have not used yet.
Let's go to the blue.
Well, let's finish with the surprise.
I'll vote
I
for
agree.
blue, yeah.
So do we want to do the blue in the smaller glass or the bigger?
I think we should save the small glass for Essie's if we're going to be doing the
Okay.
quote-unquote surprise, and we'll do the big glass with the blue.
All right.
So I'm sure people hear blue wine, and the first thing they want to go to is that it must be chemical, food dye. The blue color in this actually comes from some contact with blueberry skins. Same way you get the red wine, contact with the red skin, or the grape skin.
I'm fascinated by that. So that really, even though people might think it's chemical, that is really just the skin.
It's.
That's fascinating.
I mean, I'm sure there's some producers that would use, but what we learned the last time around with blue wine, it was blueberry skin contact. So that makes it fun.
Ooh,
Oh, it's
that's,
got a real,
sure does.
real aroma.
A good one, or?
Yeah,
Now I'm
very nice.
Now I'm afraid to stick my nose in this. The
Smells like
last one we
blueberry
had,
pancakes.
the last one we had was a lot of fun.
It's blueberry pancakes.
Oh, it is blueberry.
Oh, sweet Jiminy Crickets, that's good.
Is it
That is
good?
a surprise.
I'm kind of afraid now. It smells so sweet. It smells like blue raspberry to me.
You know,
Yes, it does, it does.
actually, the raspberry, you're right. But it's not sweet. I don't think that's sweet.
Tastes like a blue raspberry Jolly Rancher.
is
Are you
funny.
kidding? The last one we had, the Blanc de Bleu was the last one we had, and that
Yes.
one was a lot more mild.
Yeah, this
This
one's a
is
little
really,
more
if,
pungent.
Is it just me? I don't
Stings
I
the
don't agree with that.
nostrils
it's
in a good way.
it tastes like candy.
Yeah.
And speaking of candy,
Candy.
I don't know that I could drink an entire glass of this. It's delicious, but it's
Well,
wow. Boom.
This is one of those consensus things. We're going to have to get more information on this maybe to a future time when we get together. I like this, and I don't think it's as sweet as you're saying. but that's just me. So what are you
I
doing
don't think
there?
it's sweet.
Maybe
I just
'cause
think
you
it's
just ate the
very
cheese.
floral.
I don't know, I don't think
But I
cheese
ate
would
cheese
go good
too.
with blueberry.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. That's pretty cool.
I'm making
You're making
a
where-
little rim on the, okay, and you can pour the blue in now.
Future note,
at that.
for people watching, do not drink the blue with an aged cheddar cheese. That's not good.
Or aged Pop Rocks also go well with.
Can you put that back in the fridge?
Or you can pour them right in and let's see what happens. This is
Oh, yeah,
is-
please explain
is
what we're doing here,
science.
yes.
What could go wrong,
So,
right?
you know,
We're gonna-
if you look online for fun ideas for champagne, as if champagne and bubbles isn't fun enough, one of the things they say is pop rocks around the rim. It adds a little fun, especially with a blue wine, right?
This is terrifying.
And
And I just
you know-
used a little corn syrup to stick to the glass and then the Pop Rock.
I feel like
And
I'm
then
in
if
science
you
lab,
really want to make it fun,
except like a
just-
really cool science
even
lab.
though I
not-
told my husband not to swirl, look at that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Can I try? I'm going to take a little pinch.
Yeah, you can hear it. It sounds like
Oh, I'm going to take a pinch.
a bowl of Rice Krispies.
You want to try it?
You know what? I'm gonna pass.
It does sound like Rice
I
Krispies.
don't.
Do you hear it?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, when in Rome, right?
Now you're going to have it on your lips. Oh, wait. What's the thing with Pop Rocks and Coke? What happens when you drink it?
I think that's Mentos and
Is that true?
Mentos
That was
and
the
Diet
old
Coke.
saying, yes.
All right, well, here goes nothing, guys.
Pop rocks on my jacket.
I actually like it. I like it on the rim.
That's so fun.
There were pop rocks exploding all over the table here.
That's
You
so,
can hear it on the plate.
Right.
It's so fun, though.
I hate the way it pops in your head. You could just feel it in the top of your head.
It's
right.
interesting, the flavors though. These are cherry Pop Rocks with a blue raspberry flavored sparkling.
So here's the thing. This, to me, tasted sweet and almost like candy.
Because
And now that we added the sweet candy to it, it feels like the flavor's a little more mild.
Actually, it does.
Like the sweetness almost,
It
it
does
helped
mild it out.
counterbalance, balanced it. What do you think? You can't hear anything but popping in your head?
There's pop rocking going
No,
on.
I mean,
Happy early New Year.
I'm not a fuddy-duddy, but this just probably is not my thing. But,
Okay.
hey, it's. I mean, it looks cool.
a fun thing for New
It looks
Year's
like
Eve.
it looks kind of like the top of a candlestick. Over
I
there
know,
with the-
I sort of overdid it with the corn syrup.
I do think, Essie, you're right. I think the best way to go is that, right? Like if you're drinking
Yeah.
a margarita,
Right.
you
A
lick it
little
and then
bit,
take a
yeah,
sip.
Yes.
So I like it. I think it's
But
a
if I
fun
was a
dish.
restaurateur, that would be kind of a cool drink to
And they
serve
come in
people.
different
Right.
colors, so you could do blue, you could do green, you could do all different colors. So
Especially doing it with
just
a
to make it a little.
fun wine.
All right, so we've gotten through 4 bottles, so now we're going to number 5, which is going to be Essie's, and we have
Oh.
fresh glasses.
Do we want to talk about preservation
You know what?
for a second?
You take that over. You're right, absolutely.
Because we've got a lot of wine on the table here. Normally, leftover wine is not a thing in the Holland household. I don't know about yours, but we're probably going to have some leftover today. I think a lot of people know there's a traditional champagne stopper, right?
And does
We all-
that really work?
It does work. Yeah, we use this. Again, it's very rare that we have leftovers, but occasionally Rocky wants to open something I don't. And so, pretty typical. You can find that at any wine store or on Amazon. I found this cute little wine stopper that works as an aerator. It's also supposed to help. You can use it with beer to add bubbles, so I assume it would do the same for champagne. It's got a filter inside, so it does multifunctional things. But that's a fun little stopper. Again, you can use it to pour, you can use it to filter, you can close it and preserve it in the fridge. Again, it's supposed to keep champagne effervescent. Haven't
Well,
tried it yet.
In reality, we're all veterans here. None of us really keep champagne in our refrigerator more than a
It
day
is.
or two.
It is-
Again, we might.
So for you
maybe.
novices who are just getting into the bubbles, this might be something right up that you might be interested in.
And
but-
if you don't have one of these at home, everyone's got a spoon in their drawer,
You explain
right?
this. Yeah, I don't understand
So
this one.
we have not tried this. This is a new trend that's going around. You take a spoon and you want to put it in the lip right there, and you let it sit in your fridge like that. And what's supposed to happen is that the spoon conducts the coldness in the refrigerator. Stop laughing. And because it's
sorry.
down into the bottle, it's supposed to help preserve the bubbles. I have no idea if it works or not. But again, we
Okay.
all have spoons at home, so if you have leftover
So even though there's a
champagne,
little air opening on the top,
that's
that
what
doesn't
they
matter.
say.
All right,
I
well,
always
Yeah.
thought if there was air, it would.
that's what I thought too.
But we always have the raisin method as.
Yeah.
So if it does go flat,
Right, and the raisin in the glass, and then pour the champagne, and it releases the bubbles again. And it does work. It
does
absolutely
work,
does
yeah.
work. So the
Fantastic.
spoon, the raisin, I think we're covered.
Yeah.
and it doesn't add a raisin flavor, it just
No.
adds the
That's
bubbles.
right, I remember that, it
Right,
doesn't have a red
right.
flavor. So I'm literally giddy in my tuxedo pants over here as to what can possibly be under that aluminum
Okay,
foil.
let's taste it first, okay? So Rocky, why don't you? And I want the two guys to tell me what
I'm going
they
to use
think.
the big, yeah,
Where's
Yeah, we all
Ron?
are.
go big or go home. This is-
Well, we
Rocky's
got
gonna
Pop
get this
Rocks in
one.
our small
Okay,
glass.
Rocky, you're on because he said you're going to.
Oh, wait, look at those bubbles. Oh, boy.
Oh, so
That
those
is
are
some froth right there.
those
Is that
are some
enough?
fatter bubbles. That's probably not a Prosecco.
Oh, those are big bubbles.
Just go ahead and pour me the whole all the way. No, I'm teasing. Oh my God.
Now, how did you choose this one, S? On your own, or how did this work?
No. I went to Gillette Wines and I said, I need something unique to display at this, on the two guys in the Lotta wine show. And they said, I know exactly what you need.
Had they heard of the show? I'm kind of curious.
Yes, they have.
Oh, nice.
Yes, they have.
We should have them. So a little story here. This was 2006. I had a softball team, and they used to be right across from where I lived, the Hawthorne in Bloomfield. And I went over there and asked them if they would sponsor our team, and he gave us $500 to pay for our jerseys and the league entry fee. So that was really nice of him. That was.
But in no way does that
16
jade
years
us from analyzing
No.
and or judging this.
ago. No, not at all. I wouldn't.
So big bubbles.
Interesting aroma, though.
It is different.
The aroma.
All right.
Wow, I don't know what to make of that.
You found a wine that left Bobby speechless.
Okay, it's got fruit. It's got citrus, you think?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely lemon.
There's lemon,
Definitely.
but
A
there,
little
there's,
bit of a bread note to it.
there's
so
a
this
lot
is
of the bread
made in
note, at least on my
traditional
palate.
method. So that means, I mean, I would narrow this down to Cava or France. I don't think this is from the United States.
I don't, definitely
Because
doesn't.
it doesn't have
There's no
any
way
kind of
it's-
tropical notes.
Do you have an official guess?
England.
I was going to say, Brittany is also making, you didn't give me a chance to guess.
Sussex.
You guessed.
Well, first of all, I didn't even know they made bubbles in England.
Exactly. And it is, isn't it? I like it.
It's fun.
I like it.
It's different.
Well, we have to discuss this.
Oh, yeah.
12 years of doing the show, I had no idea that they made any wine whatsoever on the island of England. Did you
Yeah,
know
they don't make a lot of wine in England, but they do make sparkling, they make champagne in England.
It's a
This is-
cuvee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And it's apparently it's a combination of a Chardonnay and Pinot Noir
Yep.
and grapes.
Yep.
But would you ever expect that?
You know, I must apologize. For my wine history lessons from many, many years ago, I should have known that way back in the day when champagne was first invented, in France, I believe, correct? It was in France.
Yeah.
They had a problem with the bubbles exploding the bottles as they were shipping them from France overseas to England. And England actually was the one, because the glass was too thin. The glass was
Yeah.
too thin in the bottles. Maybe it was you, maybe it was Jim, I can't remember who said the story. And it was England who came up with making the bottles thicker. But they also, at the time, decided to make their own bubbles, and I should have remembered that. But it really was the glass was just too thin when France first started making the
Why do you
bubble.
think
And
we
yet-
don't see this here?
You'll notice too, this is called the pont. On the bottom, it creases the surface area of it, but it's very thick, which helps the bottles to not explode. So that you'll see that normal wine bottles are flat on the bottom. The ones that are sparkling have kind of a curved
Okay.
bottom to them. So that's
But I would
That's
never
why.
thought of an English sparkling.
No,
Well,
it's
I have to defer to
definitely a
Rock in
unique
this one.
one.
With your expertise, could you have ever pinned down something like
I
that?
wouldn't. I would have thrown it in the mix, but only because I knew you were trying to stump me, and I was thinking she's. And I'm going to say this because we had this gentleman on the show, Brian Mitchell, once. I used to be in a blind tasting group with him, and he brought a British sparkling wine to a blind tasting that we did, and of course nobody guessed that. So I'm thinking if I was going to stump somebody, what would I go with?
Okay.
And, yeah, so that came to mind. I don't know that I would just
Well,
guess
I gotta
that.
say, we're down to our last 2 minutes, but it goes by so fast in the show. You have really blown me away with
I think all of us, yeah.
In 12 years, well over 500 or close to 600 bottles tasting, to have an English bubbles on the show.
It's good.
I'm just blown away.
It's good, isn't it good? 'Cause
It's good, yeah.
I'm just shocked. I'm just blown away by the whole thing. I really am. And once again, Rocky, have we ever seen any English bubbles in our local areas?
The only other time I've had an English bubble was when I was blind tasting it.
I mean,
The
even
story I just
shopping,
told you,
it's
yeah.
not a common thing you see in the
Right.
bubble section.
It's
Right.
not very common. I mean, I'm sure if you were to visit England, they probably drink a lot of it. I don't think they export a lot of it, though.
I've never seen.
Yeah.
It's not in the pubs, let me
Yeah,
just say that.
the British enjoy their champagne. I mean, they like French wine.
You know, I can see it's a little stodgy, it's a little reserved, and it has that little British punch to it.
It's got a bit of a gin taste. No.
Yeah, it's just, it's really fascinating. I really gotta say, Essie, thank you. That's really,
Delicious.
I'm just completely blown away. Now that I know where you got it, I might get a bottle myself and just try it during a regular session of some food and so forth, but fantastic.
It does seem like a good
It
food
seems
wine.
like it will go with anything too. You know, there's not overpowering fruit or.
Right, it's neutral.
So before we write it down, because we got like 30, 40 seconds left, what is our best in glass going to be? I know what my choice is.
I mean, I like that one. Yours was good.
Best in glass for
My favorite was-
2022.
My vote is probably for the British. What's yours?
You know what? It's not my best flavor bubbles tonight, but I'm going to vote for that one also because I've never had it before and it was so unique. But I'm going to preface that by saying with a caveat, it might not be for everybody's taste, but I liked it.
Ladies?
With the Cava.
Cava? Okay.
I'm going with the British.
Oh, well, there you
301,
go.
yeah.
You have been outvoted.
Britannia.
There we are. Best in glass. Which camera? There we go. Okay.
So I want to thank everybody.
Yes.
I'd say it's been a great stretch, 12 years, doing this for so long, having Rocky and Sandy and Essie on the show. Thank you guys all. It's been great. We're hoping to continue to do this for another 8 years, get 20 years under our shirts, and keep drinking. So thank you for watching, and I'm Bobby P.
I'm Rocky Holland.
Keep us all
And
in your one
we're
side.
Cellar.